Hey guys, it's Aaron here. I'm the guy that started goodshooter.com and decided to make a video about a die balance that I had created. Wanted to show you guys a little bit about it. So I'm here in my house and going to show you around a little bit. So this is my crap setup. You can see the screen here, and I basically got a full 14-foot craps table, kind of a camera setup and full set of chips and everything. But what we're going to be looking at here today is something of a die balancing setup that I've had created. Now, I had a guy make this for me. I didn't make this myself, but what you're looking at is two different balancing systems. This one is pretty much the old standby, the standard one, and the one that people are pretty familiar with. There's a bunch of other videos and stuff on the internet that you can look at, and you know, the discussion is, you know, is this die balanced or not? Because whenever I rotate it, it kind of rotates back like that. So there you see it stopping on the 2, and then now it went over and stopped on the 3. But you know, you can get it to stop in different positions, and basically what I'm suggesting is that, you know, this is what happens when the die is loose in the caliper, and I've got a whole other video about what I think is happening here. But instead, let me spend a little time showing you this guy. So this is my own caliper that I had created. Wasn't a small undertaking, and it's taken several months to kind of go into how that works. Now this is a cage, and I'm gonna show you a little bit about how this thing works. But the idea behind this is a spring-loaded cage. Inside the cage here is specially designed plastic so that the die can be balanced. So I'm gonna fit the die inside the cage here, and we're just gonna have a go in it. So what I do is put it in here, and this has an adjustment mechanism. So this is very similar to the other caliper, except that there's no interaction between the die and the actual balancing process. And so this same die, and you're looking at this the first time with me, but this same die is generally going to stop pretty much anywhere without the significant counter rotation that you see in this device. And the reason why it doesn't have that counter rotation is because the points of contact and everything were designed differently, so that there is an interaction between the cube corner of the die and the spinning elements. So I'm going to show you a little bit more detail here, but this is a highly machined part, and this is very, very sharp, and this is actually peanut butter that's put in here to basically calibrate the balance. So it doesn't matter how I load the die up in here, it's going to come out and show that it's balanced. But the peanut butter effectively is just a mechanism to balance the system out. Now, the creators told me, you know, you shouldn't use peanut butter, you should use something else, but this is a prototype unit, and the peanut butter is working for me. So it's got a number of different kind of mounts. There's some other mounts that I have that still kind of in the prototyping stage, but you know, this one is working pretty well. So yeah, so that's kind of in my mind kind of rests the whole debate about, is this die balanced or not. And I've got some other dice here that we could take a look at. One of the more interesting ones is this one right here. Now, this die I got at the Gambler's Supply Store, where they actually make the dice, and this die has not been completed, and it hasn't been polished yet, so it's missing pips here. But there's a lot of people who say, well, you know, the pip resin is heavier. You can see because this isn't polished, it's still kind of sticky and attracted some fuzz. But let's load this bad boy up, and we would expect that this would show some some bias, I guess, as one demonstration that this device can show you what an unbalanced die looks like. And this one's severely unbalanced because it's missing entire pips for certain pips. But as you might expect, it kind of spins with an uneven velocity, and it's gonna rock to a heavier side down, and the heavier side should be the same each time. So you know, it's pretty much resting with this marked edge. I marked this with a Sharpie, but you can kind of see which edge is ending at the top, and it pretty much doesn't matter which direction I spin it or anything. It's going to end with that edge up, and it does reach kind of a friction point where, you know, you're not gonna see, like if the unbalance is more slight, you're not going to see it quite as much. I'm going to see if I can find, here's another die, and you can see on this die what I've done here. I'll wait till I get it in focus. See how this corner is rounded off. Now in the casinos they call this burning the corners, and of course this is an extreme case of why, you know, this caliper is sensitive to deformations, and if I put it in here, you know, it's not just gonna not work. It just really doesn't work because it really depends on these corners being nice and sharp to do what it's supposed to do here. So this thing can still kind of fit in here, but needless to say, with that kind of corner, you know, you're not gonna get a good read on this. Now anybody could say, hey, well obviously you burned the heck out of that corner, but you know what? Every single die that's been in play is going to have some amount of burn on it, and you know, it's not going to be that much burn, but these deformations on the corner, that's what this thing gets around. So if I take this corner that's burned off here and I fit it in so that that's along the axis, and I would expect that this thing would still show up as being balanced because that corner is along the axis. So if we look at that, you know, it's generally, you know, like I said, I expect this to be balanced because the corner is over here instead of being up. But if I take the same die though and I put the corner in an orientation facing upwards, I would expect this to be able to tell me that, you know, that particular corner is lighter. So it's the 4, 5, 6 corner that's burned. So we'll take this and try and fit in a different corner here so that the 4, 5, 6 corner is up. So here's the 4, 5, 6 corner right here. And now I'm going to expect that this lighter corner ends up being demonstrated where the lighter corner is. So I have to loosen it up to have a low enough friction so that we can see. But as you would expect, this corner is kind of coming up to the top, and I can kind of rotate it and see that, you know, it is wanting to go up. So this thing is generally doing its job of showing me where the lighter side is, and doing what you would expect it to do. So this die was verified to be balanced with this before I burned the corner, and basically just showing you how this thing works. And hopefully, you know, I could do plenty more demonstrations of, you know, this thing, which I'm just going to say doesn't work that well. You know, it's got really coarse threads. It's not a precise instrument compared to this thing, which I had designed and built, which is a very fine instrument, and does work, does do its job really well. And pretty much what I learned in the process of doing this, which was a multiple $1,000 project to get to the bottom of this business about biased dice, but basically what I learned is what I generally already knew, which is that, you know, you're getting some reads here based on geometry that with this device, which is not susceptible to geometrical deformations of the dice, you don't get those reads. So that's pretty much it.